guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 4 on DraftKings, and I have 6 top stacks for you this week. Usually I do 5, but one of the stacks is a little bit in question, and in case that quarterback doesn't play this weekend, I don't want you to freak out in the replies down below while all the cosplay Shefties come in here if somebody is out and let me know, hey, such and such is out. Like, by the time you've written in the replies, we know. But we record this video on Thursday morning. Games kick off on Sunday, so there's a little bit of time in between. If you wanted to stay up to date with all of the changes and get access to my cheat sheet that comes out every Friday afternoon in our community Discord, it's a 3-step process. Step 1, join the channel. There's a button down there. If you're on desktop or if you're on an Android phone, then you can go right there, click join button, become a channel member. It's $5 a month. Otherwise, just go to smizzle.tv/join. $5 a month. Step 2, go to Discord, smizzle.tv/discord. Join the Discord, then go to the step 3, the instructions folder, hashtag instructions. There's a few step process for you to link your Discord to the site that you're subbed on. Perms are the same for YouTube channel members and Twitch subscribers, and you'll get access to all the VIP rooms in Discord, where you can keep up to date with all the injuries. All of our 10,000 people, about 10,000 people in our Discord who are building lineups, cash games, tournaments, golf, NBA when that season gets here, everything else. So that's the best way to do it. 3 steps. Very easy. Very straightforward. I wish you the best of luck. May the cheat sheet be ever in your favor. I don't know how else to put it. Basically, some people have been having problems. I apologize for that. If you have problems with it, contact Discord support. But other than that, let's get to the top stacks. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, drop a reply down below, like the video, all the different things. And let's go.
He's a legend.
The Week 4 Smizz Gang Listener League is about half full, and it's only Thursday morning. It's probably going to fill early, so make sure that you get in right now. Go to smizzle.tv/links. That link is going to be right down below in the pinned comment. It's also, if you click show more, you can find it there. That's my link tree. It'll take you to get everything that you need. The Listener League link, the Discord link, my Instagram, the Twitch feed, everything else right there in the link tree. $10 center, 3 max, $40,000, absolutely no rake. The best tournament that exists on DraftKings. I will shout out the winners on the Fantasy Football channel every single Monday. And week 18 is going to be a battle royale for also the first 17 winners of this year for some fun prizes in week 18. So make sure you get in that right now. Our first stack of the week is the stack that won me all the money last weekend, and I'm going right back to it again this week. Playing at home in the Dome at SoFi is Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers. Now, look, they did lose one of his targets, a good target, Mike Williams. They have replaceability a little bit at the wide receiver position. One, with a player that is ahead on the depth chart in Josh Palmer. When they go to 3 wide receivers, they're going to be playing a little bit more. Quentin Johnson's going to see more snaps, going to run more routes. I think that Palmer is going to be the lead guy in that. He's also going to be one of the chalkiest players on the slate. That's just me being extremely honest with you. So finding your way around this stack is going to be something you're going to have to take a little bit of care with if you're somebody who does not want to, have, like me, where you're going to limit the amount of percentage points that you have in your lineup in terms of ownership. So like looking at this stack, Eckler should be back this week. Maybe he won't be. If he doesn't play, don't play him. But return to limited practice Wednesday, monitor Thursday and Friday practice reports. If he's a go, I do green light allowing Austin Eckler into my Herbert stacks because he is a player who gets over 15% of the target market share, and that essentially is a receiver. Now, when he runs the football in, that doesn't help our Herbert stacks, but points are points, and he can help you out for sure. He's going to be less held, especially less held in Herbert stacks, as people are going to try and leverage one versus the other. Keenan Allen has been an absolute target hog and a monster so far this season. Probably going to get less than 20 targets this week, but he's in that play as well. Let's see. Let's put Eckler here. Let's go to the wide receivers. As I was talking about, Mike Williams on IR. Big Mike is out, unfortunately, coming off of a big game, 28 fantasy points. Now, next man up is Joshua Palmer. He's the one who filled in 5 targets in week 2, 7 targets in week 3. Yes, we know he filled in last year when both of the wide receivers and Austin Eckler were out, and he had like 9 targets a game for like 12, 13 fantasy points. He did not a whole lot with it. He's not somebody who can be the alpha guy. That's just not what he profiles to be. But when you have him running around as a second or third option in a pass game, I like him a lot more. But he's 4K. He probably should be about 5,800. So the fact that he's priced here means he's going to be like 30% maybe in the Millionaire Maker, like very likely. I think that some people are going to want to think that Quentin Johnson is a 1-for-1 replacement. Well, he's tall. Big Mike is also tall. He has dreadlocks. Big Mike used to have dreadlocks. Kind of looks the same. Spent a first-round draft pick on him. Like, I get it, but I think he's third in the pecking order in the receiver room right now, and definitely behind Eckler, Palmer, Allen in terms of target market share. Now, he is a big guy, so he might catch touchdowns. And looking at the rest of them, we have Gerald Everett between the 20s. 6 targets, caught all of them last week. And then we have the Vulture, Donald Parham Jr., not getting a lot of targets. He's the Jerome Bettis of tight ends at this point. 2 carries, 3 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's frustrating AF, essentially, because it's killing all the others, the ceiling for all the other stuff. Just, it's enough already with Parham. Great bringbacks on the other side as well. Speaking of the other side, the most handsome quarterback in the league is still in concussion protocol so far this week. I'm hoping that he makes it because I really like the Raiders offense. It's small. It's got a very truncated target tree. You know where the ball is going, and it goes there a lot. And Jimmy G does a good job of delivering the football to the players who have talent. If he does not play, we're probably looking at Brian Hoyer, and I don't want to look at Brian Hoyer, so we're not gonna do that. Devontae Adams, absolutely amazing. He would be in. If I'm playing Jimmy G stacks, I'm locking Devontae Adams to them. Like, there's no other way to do it. Again, I'm going to go with under 20 targets. Okay. Right now, this is all up in the air. I'm more fine using them as one-offs. But if I'm playing Jimmy G stacks, assuming that he is in, and right now I'm assuming that he is going to make it and be in, he's going to be locked to it. The rest of the stack comes down to somebody like Jacoby Myers. Probably not all that interested in Hunter Renfrow. The tight ends are like extremely mid. There's not much going on here, whether it's the rookie Michael Mayer, whether it's like you're essentially playing those two, or you're opening it up to somebody like Josh Jacobs, who has seen 11 targets the last 2 weeks. And this stack right here of Raiders quarterback Jacobs Adams won me an awful lot of money down the stretch last year. Bring it back with anybody in the Chargers certainly makes sense. And we are definitely never going to talk about ever again on the Chargers. So go get your redacted shirts from the store if you need them in powder, blue, and gold. Let's go over to Underdog. And as I said, because of the unknown nature right now around the Raiders offense, there's no real Raiders props for us to bet on, but I'm going to go with higher than 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns. And guess what? If you don't have an Underdog fantasy account, they have upped the bounty. It is now up to a $500 deposit bonus on your first deposit to the site. That lasts until the 4th of October. If you don't have an Underdog account yet, and you have not claimed your $500 free dollars on Underdog Fantasy, what are you doing? What are you even doing? Use code ALSMIZZLE, ALSMIZZLE. You can use them on their pick'ems, their best ball drafts. They have a resurrection draft, battle royales, a whole lot of fun stuff over at Underdog. Claim your massive bonus today. Also going to go with Justin Herbert over 284.5, Joshua Palmer over 43.5 receiving yards. We're going to do that for $50 to try and win 6 times that for $300. Submit, confirm, boom, and we move on. The Rams and Matthew Stafford. Like I said, I got 4 of these after the Underdog hit for you guys because, like, you know, if Jimmy G's not going to be there, I want to give you the most value possible, right? So, like, here we go. Matthew Stafford and the Rams. You're going to say, Matthew Stafford and the Rams? Why would I ever do that? We want to isolate, typically speaking, to quarterbacks that are going to have a GPP winning day for us. That means 25 to 30 plus DraftKings points. We know he has that sort of ceiling. He has not achieved it yet because he has not thrown more than 1 touchdown in any game so far. But it's not for lack of trying, and it's not because he hasn't thrown enough attempts. It's not because he hasn't gotten a lot out of his wide receivers. He certainly has. Puka Nacua has been outstanding so far. We also have Tutu Atwell, 9 targets, 8 targets. Fan-freaking-tastic. Van Jefferson, like, meh, right? We kind of know where the ball's going. Or if you want to go with a tight end, Tyler Higbee as well. Solid tight end play. No touchdown so far. The touchdown variance for as much as they're throwing and as many yards as they're throwing for and as many completions as they're getting per game, the touchdowns have to come. And they are playing against Indianapolis. So there is a lot of upside here in terms of this game playing in a dome on a fast track to possibly shoot out. And it feels a little bit sneaky to me. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on the Rams double with an Indy bringback. And taking a look quickly at who the bringback plays are, Pittman a solid value. Zach Moss is crushed for the last 2 weeks. And the value that we had on the cheat sheet last week was Josh Downs. He did well. 12 targets is good when you're like under 4,000. I'm not expecting 12 targets now that Richardson should be back in this spot, but the rookie has proved himself to be a valuable piece of this offense. And provide you with an awful lot of value. When you plug in these types of guys, you have money to spend on an expensive secondary stack or be able to spend up at running back where there's a lot of talent this week. Joe Burrow, our cover boy, Joey B, the return of his talent, even though he only had a 9-point day on his last game, now gets the pass funnel of the Tennessee defense. Very difficult to run the football against Tennessee. They force you to pass the football, and they don't really have the best talent on the outside to try and stop it. And Jamar Chase is an awful lot of talent to have on the outside. And you know what I saw in that Rams game was that they were having trouble getting Joe to get the ball outside to Jamar Chase. And they said, all right, let's just move Jamar into the slot and get the ball into our best players' hands as much as possible. I love to see that. I love to see coaches solve things on the fly, especially when it's going to help us out as fantasy players. So 10 plus targets have to be going Jamar Chase's way every single week for this Cincinnati offense to run the way it's supposed to run. I also think that we're not going to see T. Higgins drop like 3-4 balls that are right in his hands. So I'm expecting a little bit of upside. And people that are looking at this saying T. Higgins is broken, he had an 8-target game, did nothing, had another 8 targets, did nothing. Like, these are anomalies, and they're scaring box score wizards from looking at this, and like, game log watchers from looking at this and saying, you know what, I'm just not going to play him. He's not good anymore. Yeah, sure, not good anymore. Sure, I'm gonna play him. If you want to get a little bit off the board and go with Tyler Boyd with his 9 targets that he had last week, 17 the last 2, sure, he's had big games before. Watch the injury here. He's non-participant on Wednesday. Behind him, you're looking at like kind of randoms with, Drew Sample, 3 targets for Wilcox. Like, you're praying for a touchdown playing anybody else at tight end, right? Like Tanner Hudson. They're all Jags. You can get them in there to try and save some money with a budget Burrow stack with Chase and them or Higgins and them, and bring it back with somebody on Tennessee should you want to. The injury to watch on Tennessee is the turf toe that the big dog is dealing with. Not listed on the IR at all. Has seen Tyjae Spears outsnap him 2 games so far, and Spears looking like the far more dynamic back. Discount for Derrick Henry only at 7K. If he ever is to miss some time, Tyjae Spears looks like an absolute must play on DraftKings if and when Derrick Henry misses time this year for that team. Brock Purdy, the pizza man. Like I said, go get your shirt. Brock Purdy, delivering the pizza in an extremely efficient manner, has like the highest team total on the main slate with like 30 points against Arizona. Arizona has been feisty so far, and good spots for value for us as bring back plays with Zach Ertz and Marquise Brown getting like 33+% of the target market share. Connor getting an awful lot of run as well. We saw Kyron Williams with a lot of volume do solid things against this San Francisco defense that is extremely talented and a good defense, but also like if they can keep putting a little bit of points, if Arizona puts like, let's say 14 to 20 points on the board, Brock Purdy could have a massive game because everybody in the world wants to play Christian McCaffrey this week, with Arizona being like, what are they, 12.5-point favorites in this one? Sorry, 14-point favorites in this game. If they are that big of favorites and they're at home and Christian McCaffrey is as good as him, everybody wants to go with Christian McCaffrey, which I think is 100% solid in cash games. And we know that he is capable of putting up monster days, touchdowns in all 3 games so far. I will include him in the group. I will allow him, let's say, to be in Purdy stacks. But this is another situation for us with San Francisco, man or zone. And right now, the Cardinals play a ton of zone defense. 80% of their plays are running zone defense. I think they're in the top 10 in the league in terms of teams that play the most snaps on defense in zone, which means that, sure, Brandon Ayuk could have a good game, right? Limited participant Wednesday. They expect him back in this one. Could have a good game. He's a very talented player, but we know that when they play against teams that play zone, it's kind of a Deebo Samuel day. Every week seems like it's been a Deebo Samuel week, except for that first game, which was against Pittsburgh, who plays a lot of man. Zone, Deebo. And also no Ayuk in this one. So I'm leaning towards Deebo Samuel as an extremely solid play here in this particular stack. Ayuk as well at tight end. George Kittle will randomly go off. He's priced at an awkward point. If you wanted to get different with your Purdy stacks, certainly way to go. I love playing tight ends against Arizona anyway. This gives me an excuse to overweight the field because I don't think anybody's going to play George Kittle this week. He's probably people's fourth most desirable 49er on this particular slate. People are going to default to just going to the running back that's home and favored. Oh, they're going to blow them out. They're just going to slow the game down. But like, what if Purdy throws for 4 touchdowns? Does it mean that George Kittle can't put up 2 touchdowns, kind of like he did last year against this team? So George Kittle in a good spot here specifically in terms of A, Purdy doubles, B, leverage against the field where everybody's going to be playing that other side. And like I said, you've got some value here, 5,900, 5,800 for Brown. And Zach Ertz way down at 3,200, although I don't like always playing tight ends against San Francisco. And our puke stack of the week, Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the Houston Texans. Yes, I think that there is a probability. There is not no chance, right? There's a non-0% chance that Kenny Pickett has a 25-point DraftKings day. And if he's going to have that, Houston has looked extremely spry through the first few weeks of the season. CJ Stroud looks like he's not just showing flashes. He's looking like a really solid quarterback, making plays on the run, which is something that they were in question. Could he improvise? Could he deal with not having all world wide receivers like he had at Ohio State? Like, yeah. And Tank Dell has been a revelation, and Nico Collins has been really, really good. And Kenny Pickett, should he have to throw the football in this game, kind of gets out of hand because both defenses can be a little bit leaky. Yes, Pittsburgh has a tremendous pass rush. Yes, they have an identity of being a strong defense, but Houston's going to put you in some awkward situations. And if Houston can get a couple of scores on the board early, that's going to force the Steelers to not just run the ball. And everybody is going up against this Houston run defense where they're extremely, extremely leaky. Without Deontay Johnson, who is currently on IR, we have seen Calvin Austin, who I think is a fantastic value play, be second on the team in terms of snaps, route run for wide receivers specifically, and targets. Done a fantastic job. Pickens, done a fantastic job. 16 targets through the last 2 weeks. Everything depends on the quarterback, obviously, and we get some touchdown upside at tight end with Pat Freiermuth as well. So you could fryer him up and throw him into those lineups with Pickett. And then guess what? The bring back stacks on the other side, equally cheap, just as solid, whether you want it to be Dameon Pierce or Nico Collins or, Tank Dell for a third straight week, 20, 28, and he's still only 4,600. Entirely too cheap for Tank Dell still. Look at how much money you have left over if you do let's say we just stick to the wide. If you do that, you got a lot of money to spend that you could load up at running back, a secondary stack. You could spend on one of those premium tight ends if you choose. And I think that it's a solid way to go. But yes, there is going to be a lower floor with that lineup. But if it hits, it's going to hit really, really hard. Let's head over to Fantasy Labs. If you wanted to get a discounted membership over at Fantasy Labs, go to smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. Yes, it is case sensitive. Here are the settings that I have in my optimized. You can just do a little freeze frame and check this out if you want. Yeah, there's a couple behind my head. These are my Chargers and Indy rules that go along this one. Pair with 2 of their pass catchers, pair running back or wide receiver. This is my secondary stack rule. So if a wide receiver's in the lineup, I'm forcing a running back, wide receiver, tight end from the opponent. I am not double stacking Indy or Chicago so long as Richardson or Fields are the quarterbacks. This is my rule that says include them with at least one of their pass catchers. I'll allow 2. I'm just not forcing to because they're lower volume passing offenses. I don't allow a running back to be in a quarterback stack except the Chargers. We can add San Francisco to this one And just so that it allows it with Christian McCaffrey for the sake of these stacks, we'll add San Francisco down there. And then I'm forcing at least one running back or wide receiver where the projected ownership is less than 12. We'll apply those settings. Let's generate 150 lineups. Make sure that you don't just think that you're going to go over to Fantasy Labs and run 150 and then just print money. It does not work like that. You have to work on your allocations and your combinations and your correlation to make sure that you get what you want. It's going to take a whole bunch of runs of these lineups to get the stacks and the looks that you want. I wish you the best of luck this weekend. Make sure that you join the Discord, get a hold of that cheat sheet on Friday. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.